Have you ever paused to think about that delicious piece of fish on your plate and wondered if it is truly helping your body? Or perhaps silently working against it? It is a tough truth, but many of us, especially as we get a little older, often choose seafood that we believe is incredibly healthy, only to find out it might be doing more harm than good. Our bodies change, our sensitivities increase, and what was once fine might now be contributing to issues like fatigue, brain fog, or even those pesky aches and pains that seem to crop up from nowhere. The secret isn't to avoid seafood altogether. Far from it. The real secret is knowing which fish are your allies in health and which ones are simply not worth the risk. No matter how tasty they seem. In this video, we're going to uncover 4 common seafoods that you should probably think twice about eating. And more importantly, we will reveal 4 incredible, delicious alternatives that will nourish your body, support your brain, and help you thrive. So, grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and make sure you watch right to the very end, because I promise you, there is something waiting for you that will genuinely surprise you and might just change the way you look at your next seafood meal. Let's dive right into the deep end, shall we? The very first seafood that often finds its way onto plates, masquerading as a healthy choice, but which you might want to reconsider, especially as a senior, is certain types of large, long-lived predatory fish. I'm talking specifically about king mackerel and swordfish. The reason these giants are on our caution list is primarily due to their high mercury content. You see, king mackerel and swordfish are apex predators, meaning they eat smaller fish. And those smaller fish have already consumed even smaller organisms that contain trace amounts of mercury. This process, called bioaccumulation, means that as you go up the food chain, the mercury levels become more concentrated. For a long-lived fish like a swordfish, which can live for decades, that accumulation can reach significant levels. Now, why is mercury a concern for us? Well, mercury is a neurotoxin. It can quietly, subtly, impact your nervous system, leading to issues like memory problems, difficulty concentrating, and even tremors. While occasional exposure might not be immediately alarming, regular consumption, especially for those of us whose bodies might be a little less efficient at detoxifying, can compound over time. It is not about fear-mongering, but simply being aware that if you are experiencing brain fog or a general feeling of offness, your plate might be part of the puzzle. So, my advice here is to simply limit or, if possible, avoid these larger, longer-lived predatory fish altogether, especially king mackerel, swordfish, and even some types of tilefish, just to be on the safe side. Now, instead of reaching for those high mercury giants, let's talk about a true superstar of the sea, especially for us older folks. I'm talking about wild Alaskan salmon. Not all salmon is created equal, and the key here is wild Alaskan. Why? Because these fish live freely in the pristine, cold waters of Alaska, feeding on natural prey like krill and small crustaceans, which are rich in the very nutrients we are looking for. The primary reason wild Alaskan salmon is so incredibly beneficial is its exceptionally high content of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These are not just any fats. They are essential fats that your body cannot produce on its own, and they are absolutely crucial for maintaining your health as you age. EPA is renowned for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties, helping to soothe those creaky joints, reduce chronic pain, and even calm systemic inflammation that contributes to heart disease and other age-related conditions. DHA, on the other hand, is a cornerstone of brain health. It is a major structural component of your brain and eyes, supporting cognitive function, memory, and even mood. Think of it as brain food that helps keep your mind sharp and clear. Beyond omega-3s, wild Alaskan salmon is also an excellent source of high-quality protein, which is vital for maintaining muscle mass, something we all know becomes more challenging as we get older. It also provides a significant amount of vitamin D, a nutrient many of us are deficient in, yet critical for bone health, immune function, and even mood regulation. Plus, it is bursting with B vitamins and selenium. For maximum benefit, aim for 2 to 3 servings of wild Alaskan salmon per week. Whether you bake it with a sprinkle of herbs, grill it with some lemon, or even enjoy it canned, just make sure it is wild Alaskan. It is a delicious and incredibly powerful way to boost your vitality. All right, moving on from the big fish, let's cast our nets toward another common choice that can be surprisingly problematic, and that is conventionally farmed salmon. Now, I know many people buy farmed salmon thinking it is a healthy option, and it certainly looks similar to its wild cousin. But there are some critical differences, especially when it comes to the nutritional profile and potential contaminants. You see, conventional fish farms often house thousands of salmon in crowded pens. To prevent diseases from spreading rapidly in these conditions, antibiotics are sometimes used, which can contribute to antibiotic resistance in the environment. More concerning, however, is their diet. Unlike wild salmon that forage for nutrient-rich krill, farmed salmon are typically fed a highly processed, often soy-based or grain-based pellet feed. This dramatically alters their fatty acid profile. While other fish are celebrated for their high omega-3 content, conventionally farmed salmon is notoriously low in omega-3s and, critically, very high in omega-6 fatty acids. The omega-3 content in conventionally farmed salmon is also generally lower and less bioavailable than in their wild counterparts. Furthermore, studies have sometimes found higher levels of environmental contaminants, like PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, in conventionally farmed salmon compared to wild varieties. These chemicals are persistent in the environment and can accumulate in fatty tissues, and are certainly not something we want more of in our bodies as we age. So, while it might be more readily available and often cheaper, it is worth being discerning. If you see Atlantic salmon in the supermarket, it is almost certainly farmed, and often conventionally. This is not to say all farmed salmon is bad. Some aquaculture practices are becoming more responsible. But if the label doesn't specify wild Alaskan or provide clear certifications for responsibly farmed, it is generally best to err on the side of caution and consider it a less ideal choice. So, if farmed salmon is a bit of a gamble, what is another fantastic, reliable choice that is packed with goodness and won't break the bank? My pick for you is the humble, yet mighty, sardine. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Sardines, really? But hear me out. These small, oily fish are absolute nutritional powerhouses, and they offer so many benefits that are especially important for us as we get older. First and foremost, because they are small and have a short lifespan, sardines are very low in mercury, making them one of the safest seafood choices out there for regular consumption. But their real magic lies in their nutrient density. They are bursting with omega-3 fatty acids, often even more per serving than salmon, providing those crucial EPA and DHA compounds for heart, brain, and joint health. What is more, when you eat canned sardines, you typically consume the soft, edible bones, which are an incredible source of calcium and vitamin D, two nutrients that are absolutely vital for maintaining strong, healthy bones and preventing osteoporosis. A concern for many of us. Think of them as a natural. Edible bone supplement sardines also provide a fantastic dose of vitamin B12, which is essential for nerve function, red blood cell production, and energy levels. And a deficiency can lead to fatigue and cognitive issues. They are also packed with protein and selenium. The beauty of sardines is their convenience. They come canned, so they are readily available, have a long shelf life, and are incredibly versatile. You can mash them on whole grain toast with some avocado, toss them into a salad, or even add them to pasta sauces. Do not let their small size fool you. These little fish are giant contributors to your health and vitality. All right, we have navigated through some of the salmon and mackerel choices. Now, let's turn our attention to another popular seafood staple that many of us consume regularly without a second thought. And that is albacore tuna, especially in its canned form. For decades, canned tuna has been a go-to for quick lunches, salads, and casseroles. It is convenient, affordable, and most people assume it is a healthy protein source. And while tuna can be part of a healthy diet, the type of tuna truly matters. When you see albacore or white tuna on the label, you are looking at a species of tuna that is generally larger and lives longer than other common canning varieties like skipjack or tongal, which are often labeled as light tuna. Just like with king mackerel and swordfish, the larger and longer-lived a fish is, the more time it has to accumulate mercury from its environment. So, while a tuna sandwich might seem harmless, consistently choosing albacore tuna means you are exposing yourself to higher levels of mercury over time. This is not to say you can never enjoy albacore tuna, but for regular consumption, especially as we age and our detoxification processes might not be as robust, it is wise to limit it. Mercury exposure, even at low levels over extended periods, can contribute to subtle neurological symptoms, fatigue, and other systemic issues that we want to avoid. So, next time you are in the canned fish aisle, take a moment to look at the label. If it says albacore or white, consider it an occasional treat rather than a daily staple. So, if your tuna sandwich habit needs a little tweak, what is a fantastic alternative that is not only safe, but truly nourishing? Echoing some of the best qualities of our earlier superstars, let me introduce you to Atlantic mackerel. Now, I want to make a clear distinction here. This is not the same as king mackerel, which we discussed as being high in mercury. Atlantic mackerel is a smaller, faster-growing species found in the Atlantic Ocean, and because of its size and shorter lifespan, it has significantly lower mercury levels, making it a much safer choice for regular consumption. And just like its cousin, the sardine, Atlantic mackerel is an absolute powerhouse of omega-3 fatty acids, those essential EPA and DHA compounds that are so crucial for our brain, heart, and joint health. In fact, Atlantic mackerel often boasts higher omega-3 content per serving than even some types of salmon. It is also an excellent source of protein, B vitamins, and selenium. Beyond its nutritional benefits, Atlantic mackerel is considered a very sustainable choice, meaning you can enjoy it knowing you are making an environmentally responsible decision. It has a richer, more robust flavor than some milder white fish, making it a fantastic alternative to tuna in salads, on crackers, or even lightly grilled. It is often available canned, much like sardines, making it just as convenient and easy to incorporate into your diet. Imagine a delicious, nutrient-packed mackerel salad instead of your usual tuna salad. It is a simple swap that can make a profound difference in your intake of vital omega-3s and reduce your exposure to unwanted mercury, all while enjoying a satisfying meal. Do not be shy. Give Atlantic mackerel a try. Now, for our fourth and final seafood to approach with caution, let's talk about something that has become incredibly common, especially in restaurants and processed meals, and that is imported tilapia. Tilapia has exploded in popularity over the past few decades, largely because it is inexpensive, has a very mild flavor. Some people call it fish chicken because it takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with, and it is easy to farm. However, its widespread availability often comes at a cost to its nutritional value and even potential safety. The vast majority of tilapia consumed globally is farmed, and much of it is imported from countries with less stringent regulations regarding aquaculture practices. These farms can be crowded, leading to conditions where disease can spread easily, sometimes necessitating the use of antibiotics. More importantly, the diet of conventionally farmed tilapia is often a major concern. Unlike wild fish that consume nutrient-rich diets, farmed tilapia are often fed corn and soy-based pellets. This dramatically alters their fatty acid profile. While other fish are celebrated for their high omega-3 content, conventionally farmed tilapia is notoriously low in omega-3s and, critically, very high in omega-6 fatty acids. As we discussed earlier, while omega-6 are essential, an imbalance where omega-6s far outweigh omega-3s can actually promote inflammation in the body. For seniors dealing with arthritis, heart conditions, or general inflammatory responses, consuming a food that actively contributes to this imbalance is not ideal. Furthermore, there have been concerns raised about the environmental conditions of some tilapia farms and the presence of certain contaminants from the feed or water in some imported varieties. So, while tilapia might seem like a harmless, budget-friendly option for optimizing your health, especially as you age, It is generally best to choose fish with a more favorable nutritional profile and transparent sourcing. Instead of tilapia, there is a fantastic, versatile white fish that offers excellent nutrition without the concerns, and that is Pacific cod. Cod is a classic for a reason. It is mild in flavor, flakes beautifully when cooked, and is incredibly versatile, making it a favorite for everything from fish and chips to baked fillets. But beyond its culinary appeal, Pacific cod, particularly wild caught, is a wonderfully healthy choice, especially for us seniors. First, it is remarkably lean and a fantastic source of high-quality protein. Protein, as you know, is essential for maintaining muscle mass, supporting bone health, and keeping you feeling full and energetic throughout the day. Unlike tilapia, Pacific cod is very low in fat overall, and the fat it does contain is primarily healthy omega-3s, although in smaller amounts than oily fish like salmon or sardines. Crucially, Pacific cod is very low in mercury, making it a safe choice to enjoy regularly without worrying about heavy metal accumulation. It is also rich in several important vitamins and minerals, including B vitamins like B12 and niacin, which support energy metabolism and nerve function, as well as phosphorus and selenium, important for bone health and antioxidant defense. When choosing cod, look for Pacific cod or Atlantic cod that is clearly labeled as wild caught. These varieties are generally caught from well-managed fisheries, indicating a more sustainable and healthier choice. You can bake it with a simple lemon butter sauce, pan-sear it, or even add it to fish stews. It is a delicious, easy-to-digest option that provides a lean protein boost without any of the drawbacks we have discussed with other fish. It is truly a testament to how simple, wholesome choices can make a significant difference in how you feel day to day. As you can see, the world of seafood is not always as straightforward as it seems, but armed with this knowledge, you now have the power to make choices that truly support your health and vitality. We have talked about how those larger, long-lived predatory fish like king mackerel and swordfish can quietly bring in unwanted mercury, and how conventionally farmed salmon might not be the nutrient powerhouse we imagine, often coming with higher contaminants and fewer beneficial omega-3s than their wild counterparts. We also looked at how common albacore tuna, while convenient, carries a heavier mercury load than other tuna varieties, and how widely available imported tilapia might be nutritionally lacking and even inflammatory due to its farming practices. But more importantly, we have shone a spotlight on the true ocean treasures: the vibrant, omega-3-rich wild Alaskan salmon, a powerhouse for your brain, heart, and joints; the humble yet mighty sardine, packed with calcium and vitamin D, making them tiny heroes for your bones and overall vitality; the versatile Atlantic mackerel, a safe and nutrient-dense alternative to larger, mercury-laden fish; and the lean, clean Pacific cod, a fantastic source of protein that is gentle on your system and incredibly versatile in the kitchen. Gusani ba sabo. Remember, every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body, to give it the building blocks it needs to thrive, to keep your mind sharp, your joints happy, and your energy levels up. This is not about deprivation or completely cutting out foods you love forever. It is about becoming more discerning, making informed choices most of the time, and understanding that even small shifts in your diet can accumulate into significant positive impacts on your health as you continue to live your best life. Think of it as investing in your future self, one delicious and healthy meal at a time. It is about feeling good, about having the energy to pursue your passions, to enjoy time with loved ones, and to simply wake up feeling more refreshed and ready for the day. Changing lifelong habits can feel daunting, and sometimes the sheer amount of information out there can be overwhelming. But please, do not feel intimidated. Remember, small, consistent changes are often the most powerful and the most sustainable. You do not have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start small. Perhaps this week, you could try swapping out just one of those less ideal choices for one of the superstar options we discussed. Maybe try incorporating a can of wild sardines onto your salad or toast instead of your usual topping. Or perhaps you will pick up a fillet of Pacific cod for dinner instead of tilapia. You might be surprised not only by how delicious these alternatives are, but by how much better you feel. Perhaps a little more energetic, a little less stiff, or simply clearer in thought. These subtle shifts are often the beginning of a wonderful journey towards enhanced well-being. I truly hope this journey through the world of seafood has been enlightening and empowering for you. Your wisdom and experiences are invaluable, and I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. Have you already made some of these healthy seafood swaps in your own diet? What is your favorite delicious and healthy way to prepare wild salmon, sardines, Atlantic mackerel, or Pacific cod? Or perhaps you have a question about another type of seafood that we did not cover today. Please share your wisdom, your insights, and your comments below. Your contributions can truly help inspire and inform others in our wonderful community who are also striving to live healthier, happier lives. We are all in this together, learning and growing. If you found value in this conversation, if you learned something new that you can put into practice immediately, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. That simple gesture helps more than you know by letting YouTube know this content is helpful and ensuring it reaches even more people just like you who are looking for practical, actionable advice to boost their health. And of course, if you have not already, I warmly invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. By doing so, you will be sure not to miss out on our future videos, which are packed with even more practical, easy-to-understand tips and advice tailored specifically to help you navigate the journey of aging with confidence, vitality, and joy. Your health is your most precious asset, and every informed decision you make about what you put into your body is a profound act of self-love and empowerment. You have the power to influence how you feel, how much energy you have, and how vibrantly you experience each day. Keep nourishing your body wisely. Keep exploring delicious and healthy foods. And above all, keep living your best life at every age. Thank you so much for spending this valuable time with me today. Until next time, take wonderful care of yourself and eat well.